Greetings friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Alicia and in today's video, I'm bringing you a new what's for dinner video. 3 simple dinners that make for the easiest weeknight meals that your family will absolutely demolish. So let's get into the very first dinner. Our very first dinner are some drumsticks with some rice pilaf. Back in my December Costco haul, I had purchased these seasoned drumsticks and there was so many drummies in the package that I ended up saving half in the freezer for another night, which is what I'm doing right here. So if you ever see them at Costco, get them. They are absolutely fantastic. Alright, I have all my ingredients out for the rice pilaf. I'm actually going to increase the butter a little bit just to make it taste better, just to have a little bit more flavor to it. But I have my orzo right here, white rice. I have an onion, garlic, parmesan that I'm going to grate in a little bit. I have some chicken broth, and then I'm doing pepper, seasoned salt, and parsley flakes. So let's start in on the rice pilaf. My husband is not a fan of orzo, not sure why, if it's just like a texture thing. If anyone remembers me talking about him and his hate of spaghetti, I think that's where it stems from. He doesn't like the taste of spaghetti, but he'll eat any other pasta. Okay, anyways, sorry about that. But when he tasted this, he absolutely raved about it. And in fact, he wouldn't stop talking about it when we were eating it. So this is probably the best rice pilaf recipe ever, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that butter, the extra butter, probably helped with that. So to trim asparagus, what you're supposed to do is hold the asparagus stem and then kind of bend it, and then wherever it breaks off, that's where you should be cutting the rest of the asparagus. The bottom half of it is kind of like woody and it doesn't have like a lot of great taste or flavor to it. Now, a lot of people save those ends and use them like to make stock, but I'm not doing that. I'm just going to be throwing those away. But for the asparagus, I like to put a drizzle of olive oil, and I like to use thyme on my asparagus. It just tastes really, I don't know, earthy or something. It just gives a great flavor to it. And then I do salt and pepper it, and then when I pull it out of the oven when it's done, I will juice 1 whole lemon over the top of it, and it just provides a great like brightness to it. Once your rice pilaf is done, you're going to want to fluff it a little bit with a fork, and then you're going to add in your Parmesan cheese. Now, I highly recommend getting a block of Parmesan cheese and not the already shredded stuff, because that just doesn't melt very well. I made the mistake of buying some pre-shredded Parmesan cheese several months ago, and I just could not get it to melt for anything, so I ended up wasting it, which really sucked. So please learn from my mistake and do not buy the pre-shredded cheese. For our dinner tonight, it has been a minute since I have made breakfast for dinner. So I just recently went to Costco. If you haven't seen that video yet, it'll be up here in the cards for you to check out. But I picked up some brioche loaves, and so this is a lot. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna have breakfast for dinner. So I'm gonna do the brioche French toast. I'm gonna do some bacon and then some cheesy scrambled eggs. But with the brioche loaves, I'm going to make all of them, so that I can freeze the majority of the French toast for easy breakfast, for like school days or church mornings or whatever. So I'm gonna make a whole bunch of it. I'm gonna double up on my recipe. When I get started, I wanna start by kind of separating the bread and letting it kind of dry out just a little bit, because the mixture soaks up in the bread a lot better when it's a little bit dry. I always like to kind of like tee them off, like make a little triangle just to like have them lean against each other so that it helps dry them out. So I just kind of do that. Kind of helps. I mean, I'm gonna make them here pretty shortly. They're not gonna dry out too much. It would have been better had I done it this morning, but hello, forgot. Okay, I'm gonna grab 1 more cooling rack, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with the other brioche loaf. Who here makes their bacon in the oven? Let me know in the comments, but I love baking off the bacon in the oven. I think it is a great way whenever you have a lot of things going on in your stovetop, which I will have. I'm going to have the eggs going on, and then I have my French toast to watch. So the mistake I made here though, and I always forget to do this, is that you want to start off with a very cold oven. And so I had completely forgot. I had preheated my oven. They went in at 375, I believe it was. So while they came out crispy, they weren't as crispy as they normally are when you start it off in a cold oven. So what I ended up doing was I flipped the bacon over at the very end, and then I broiled it on high for like 2 minutes, and it was perfection. French toast cooking over there. Right now I'm gonna get started on the scrambled eggs. I'm actually gonna do like an Anthony Bourdain style. He used sour cream in his scrambled eggs. I used to watch like the Travel Channel whenever he was on there because I was obsessed with like all cooking shows. And I always thought that was so interesting, and it makes really, really creamy scrambled eggs. So I'm gonna add some of that in. And I'm also gonna add in some cheese because I have some grated cheese left over from taco night. So I'm gonna throw some in there at the end as well. Wow, can we just talk about the price of eggs? I went to Target today. I didn't need any eggs. I have a whole bunch, which is why I don't mind using all the eggs, because one of my cartons is gonna expire like in a week. So I don't wanna be wasteful and waste them. But I went to Target just to price them because I was grabbing something else in that area. They were like $6 for a dozen. It was crazy. Like, I cannot believe how we got here. Like, how did we get to this point where it is for 12 eggs it is $6? That's crazy to me. So anyway, but I'm gonna be having to use these, so I'm gonna make a bunch of scrambled eggs. I think I'm gonna use 10 in here. We eat a lot of eggs. Get started on those. I need to flip the French toast. Hi, baby. I need to flip my French toast, and then my bacon has 2 minutes. I'm gonna check on it, and if it still needs some more time, I'll probably add another 8 to 10 minutes. All right, my bacon I think is done. Let's check it out. Ooh, let's see. Okay, I think it's about done. I think I might do like maybe a minute more just to get it super crispy, but it's basically done. And it's so easy to do it in the oven because I have a lot of other things going on right now. Now my eggs are almost at a point where I'm gonna put in the sour cream. You don't need too much. I think maybe like a few tablespoons, like 3 to 4. And just kind of swirl it in there. And then I haven't seasoned it yet. I'm gonna season it at the very end. And he likes his, or he made, I should say, he made his eggs kind of runny. He liked them wet, but my family prefers them a little bit more cooked, so a little bit more drier. So that's the route I'm taking. So I mentioned I doubled the recipe and I am almost done. I only have 4 slices left here, and there's gonna be just a little bit of the mixture left, so that's perfect. There's 28 slices here, I counted. 27 and a half because my husband already started to get into that. And he's helping me out over here by slicing up some strawberries, being a really good guy, a good dad. But we're almost done here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just leave these out for right now, and then the kids can have whatever they want, or not as whatever they want, but we have several slices of the French toast, and then I'm going to lay them out on the cooling racks. I'm gonna stick them in the freezer for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna wrap them in wax paper and then stick them in gallon-sized bags for another day. Tonight's dinner is going to be ridiculously easy. I'm going to make a ground beef stroganoff, and I'm kind of modifying the recipe a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually saute up the onions and the mushrooms first. She has it to where you add the ground beef and then you brown it up and then you add the mushrooms, but I don't really want to do that because I want to drain as much fat as I can from the ground beef. So I'm going to saute up these mushrooms first, and then add the onions, and then I will remove it from the pan and then brown up my ground beef. So the thing when sauteing mushrooms is that you want to drop it into your skillet, kind of move it around a little bit, and then leave it alone. Like, don't even touch it for like 5 to 7 minutes or something. You want all of the moisture that is in the mushrooms to evaporate, and it will leave a more like pronounced umami flavor to the mushrooms. And so that was what I was wanting for this type of stroganoff. If you don't have the time, obviously just throw in the mushrooms with the ground beef per the recipe, but honestly, the extra 5 minutes is worth it. In a past video, people had recommended using for grease like paper towels, like to stick a paper towel in there and then it'll absorb the grease. I'm just so used to pouring off the grease into like Starbucks cups. I keep a Starbucks cup in my freezer, and so anytime I go to bake or cook anything that involves grease or oil, I always pull it out of the freezer and then dump the oil into that cup, and then once that cup is completely filled, I throw the entire cup away. So that is just something that have always done for a long time now, but I need to remember the paper towel trick. So this part was not in the recipe, but I just decided to add in the egg noodles to the ground beef mixture. Just saves me a step from having to place the noodles on the plate and then top it with the stroganoff on top. I just mixed the whole thing together and it still came out delicious. Plus, I knew this was gonna make leftovers and it was all gonna go into one container anyway, so it worked out perfectly. So I have made this recipe several times already, but anytime I make this recipe, I've got to bring out the hot sauce. Me and my husband love hot sauce, and so my favorite kind of hot sauce to use on this particular meal is Crystal. My husband is like, why are you putting that on there? You need Tabasco. Me and him argue over that, but honestly, to me, Tabasco is like for eggs, and then Crystal is like for this type of meal. But what do you think? Let me know, Team Tabasco, Team Crystal. Let me know in the comments. All right, you guys, and that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and definitely subscribe to my channel on your way out. I would really appreciate your support, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.